During his 20 years in service, Colonel Christopher Ricci has proven to be an adept and knowledgeable leader, leading his men to battle with skill. He was born in Fort Hood, Texas in 1980. His father served in the military and met Ricci's mother in Korea. He also has a sister who was born in Hawaii. Ricci's first profession he wanted to go into was the military, due to it being cheaper than regular college. Ricci was enlisted in the Army as they were the first ones that responded because he tried to enlist in all the branches. Ricci got the ROTC to pay for his schooling down in Daytona, where he did his undergrad. His first duty assignment consisted of training cadets that were coming into Fort Lewis, Washington, on May 12, 2002. He then went to start his training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, through the Officer Basic Course for 6 months, which taught him how to be an armor officer, but switched halfway to an infantry officer. An armor officer is someone who works with tanks.
At the front lines, if you'd feel comfortable sharing.
So, that's a very broad question. It's when you are overseas in a harmful place, there's not really a front line. You've got a camp or a operating base that you're living out of that's somewhat safer, but then you leave that to go conduct operations, and it's you just got to have your wits about you at all times. That's why that anxiety.
As a reconnaissance tool, Ricci had to traverse dangerous war zones in a machine, crossing enemy territory for the hopes of winning information for his country. Somebody holding an infantry position, on the other hand, works in the ravaged field, actively seeking, fighting, and destroying enemy forces with any means necessary. However, they are also involved in reconnaissance. When he went to Iraq, he worked as a scout platoon leader, responsible for his platoon during operations. Later on, he was a military advisor to the Iraqi Commando Battalion, fighting against terrorist sects in the Sunni and Shia parts of the Muslim religion, helping to break it up and stop the terrorists from terrorizing the general population.
Commando battalions, so I was helping them conduct combat operations against. Really, we had some Sunni and Shia insurgent groups. So as you look at the Muslim religion, you've got really kind of two sides, and we had splinter factions of terrorist organizations on both sides, attempting to harm the government of Iraq. So that's what we were focused on. And then later on, helping train the Afghan National Security Forces in Afghanistan. And then this last deployment I had, we were partnered with multiple countries across Africa, helping train their armies so that they could. You've got a lot of offshoot Al-Qaeda and ISIS terrorist organizations in Africa, so our work there was to help those guys be prepared to, take care of that problem.
According to him, service in the field was a combination of both boring and adrenaline, from waiting until the fighting starts to the actual action of the battle, like when a bomb goes off or a rocket comes in, then it's all hands on deck. This was a terrifying environment, always waiting with bated breaths. During the fighting, the war zone has never made his designation irrelevant, as the infantryman is always needed. The job of an infantryman is acquiring land for your group so that your country can control it. His experience in the military has changed him and has made him a bit more of a pacifist, due to the stuff he saw during combat. Ricci has said that through war, it's easy to make friends with your platoon, as these are the men you're fighting with against a common foe, needing to trust the other to lead you through. The colonel carries a St. Michael's medal with him, which acts almost as a good luck charm, given to him by the Catholic military chaplain. The military has many chaplains of different denominations providing religious services to soldiers in the military. His group happened to have a Catholic with them. St. Michael's is the saint of the airborne, the perfect saint for the military branches. Ricci has been to many different countries all over Europe and has even been to Japan and the Philippines. Ricci has never regretted joining up and sticks by that to this very day. When When he got home from his service, he was glad to be back in the United States of America. Ricci has lived by the mantra, if you want something, you gotta put some effort into it, and you should be grateful for what you have, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Ricci will be retiring in about 2 to 5 years, and thinks that fitting back into civilian life will be a challenge, as he has lived the military lifestyle.
I'm probably going to serve a couple more years.
How does your military experience affect your life?
Not to get too deep in front of the camera, one of the things that I always get scared of, Addison, is it's so much who I am. I am kind of wondering what it's going to be like to not be a soldier anymore. Does that make sense? It's like, it's who I am. It's what I've done most of my life. So it is a little scary to think about not doing it.
Like
anymore.
Not being in those circles?
Yeah, just, not putting on the uniform every day. Yeah.
Place for everyone. They should be remembered for their bravery for many years to come, whether they served in Iraq, Vietnam, or the Cold Wars, or the World Wars. I thank Colonel Christopher Ricci for his service to our great country.